Hi, so in the first video, I kind of mentioned something called executive functioning. And I really think it's important that we as educators understand brain chemistry and a little bit of brain development and brain science. Oftentimes, teaching is seen as an art, and I absolutely agree. But I also agree that we're a really hard science too. You know, what we do, our classroom practices should be informed by and really based in science, especially now that we have all this new imaging that capabilities for the young learner. We can really map out what areas are being activated in the brain. We can really look at how external stimuli and even internal functions impact student learning and student engagement. Those are such pivotal pieces of what we're doing in our classroom. And if you're ignoring our field as a science, you're really missing out on some powerful stuff. So executive functioning is one of those areas where I feel like it's pivotal that us as educators really educate ourselves and continue to be learners so that we understand what's going on in our littles. So I can't flip you around the way that I'm recording right now, so I'm going to actually turn the phone, so I apologize for that. But this is a great site right here. There we go. And this is one, it's called developingchild.harvard.edu, and there's a lot of great resources there. But these are some of the pieces of information I'm really going to be talking to you about. So the scientists like to look at, and the psychologists like to look at, three major functions of executive functioning in our children, okay? That first one's working memory. So the ability to pull out prior knowledge and really synthesize it into something new, to really work with that information in a novel way and pull it out of that long-term pieces, those long-term features, and really work on it and create and change that schema, if you will. That's an important part of executive functioning. So you'll notice you have some children that they can recall information, but it's really difficult for them to then change it or add to it. Okay. Another one is mental flexibility, and especially in our what we consider in my district our gifted education or your exceptional child psych features, that mental flexibility piece is talked about quite a lot, and that's the ability of a child or even an adult to really look at a problem from a new and novel way. So you have those images, those pictures, posters that a lot of us have seen, where if you look at it one way, it's an old lady, and you look at it another way, it's a young person, or maybe it's the duck rabbit. And that gives a very concrete way for us to kind of think about that mental flexibility. A person with high mental flexibility will right away automatically be able to see multiple pictures within that same image. Some of us that are a little bit more concrete, a little harder for us to change that flexibility, we're a little more static. My lights turn off automatically in my classroom, so I apologize for that. Let me move a little bit. Hey. Those of us that it's harder for us to have that mental flexibility, we may only see one image for a little bit. And so that whole idea of mental flexibility is an important piece as we start to navigate the 21st century world with our 21st century learners. You know, these kids are going to have to look at problems from a variety of different ways. You know, our limited resources we have on the planet and things like that. You know, those are really real problems that they're going to need solutions for, and one solution is no longer going to cut it. You know, we really need to look at it from a variety of ways. So we can really see and think about how innovation is so key to today's learner, you know, as they progress. So really fostering that sense of mental flexibility is huge. The third component is self-control. And I think anybody that is in early ed can agree that self-control is an important part of participating in both society and in a classroom setting. So we're going to really hone in on that idea of self-control and those inhibitions, checks that you really need to develop in our kids. Harvard here with that Developing Child site will kind of mentions also that these are not skills kids are born with. You know, these are skills that we really need to develop. And in my next video, I'll share a little analogy that I like to share with my participants in live classes as well about how we need to change the way we look at these skills. We need to change the way we attack these skills, both in classroom and as a society. So thank you for joining me.